Hello everybody, welcome to the video series How to Read Music. My name's Greg and this is lesson 1-1, Forget the Fudge. Now, even those of you who may be brand new to reading music know what this is. You've probably seen this and you may even know that it's called a staff. It's the thing we use to write notes on. It's got lines and spaces. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's the part of music notation that makes it really look complicated. If you were to picture this without the horizontal lines taking up so much space on the page, it would look a lot less intimidating, but it would also be impossible to read. So let's start deciphering what the staff means. In school, a lot of us, including me, learned this saying, every good boy deserves fudge, or maybe you learned it from a music teacher or a piano teacher. And this is used to memorize the names of the lines on the staff. Bottom line is E, so every, good for G, B for boy, E, G, B, D, F. So simple. But we also have spaces, and if we remember the word face and we spell it out from the bottom, F-A-C-E, this tells us the spaces on the staff. Now, if this works for you, great. I'm not asking you to unlearn anything. I'm not saying this is a bad way necessarily to learn to read music, but it does require you to remember a lot of things. You have to remember a saying and a word, and you have to remember that one is for the spaces and one is for the lines, and you have to remember that it goes up instead of down. So that's kind of a lot to remember. And fine if that works for you, but there is a method of reading music that requires a lot less memorization. And this isn't something I came up with. This was developed by a brilliant woman named Frances Clark. If they gave a Nobel Prize for music education, she certainly would have deserved one. And this is her earth-shattering, game-changing discovery. She one day said, "Hey, the notes are in alphabetical order." She actually said that. That's a direct quote. Well, maybe not, but she did develop a way of reading music that makes use of the fact that the notes do go in a specific, logical, consistent order. This is the musical alphabet. It has 7 letters, A through G, and it repeats over and over. Um, and it's the only alphabet I can think of that is meant to go in 2 directions, forwards and backwards. In music, up means you go forward in the alphabet, and it also means that the notes are getting higher. So this G is one step higher than F, so we have to go forward in the alphabet. We're going up 1, we're going forward 1 in the alphabet. Conversely, in music, down means you go backwards in the alphabet, and it also means that the notes are getting lower. So this F is one step lower than G. So to get to F from G, you go backwards 1 in the alphabet. This E is down 2 steps from G, so you have to go backwards 2 steps in the alphabet. This takes a little practice. You have to get as good reading the alphabet backwards just as well as reading it forwards. It takes a little while to get used to that, but not that long, and you'll be able to do it pretty well in no time. Now, let's introduce the staff and see how this relates to the musical alphabet. This is a 3-line staff. Usually you see 5, but you can have a 3-line staff. It's no big deal. It does happen. And let's just pick a space, actually a line on this staff, and let's say this is B. So if this is B, let's go up a step, forward in the alphabet 1. This is C, up 1 more. This is D. What's this? This is E. What's this? F. How do we do that? This is a ledger line. It's no big deal. You run out of lines and spaces on the staff. Just add your own. Okay, it's a ledger line. No big whoop. And there's even a space above that ledger line. This shows you where G is. And let's go up 1 more. This is A. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, Do you remember what this note was? You will if you remember that we started on that middle line and that was B, and we are up a step from B, so this is C. Um, Now, how are we going to remember that this line is B? Well, let's make a little marker, and these markers are called clefs. And here's the one I made up. This is called the B clef, because I think B's are cute. So here we are, up a step from B, C, up 2 steps from B, this is D. Oh, how about this? Now, we've gone down a step from B, so we're going backwards in the alphabet. Before B in the alphabet is A. Let's go down one more. The note before A is G. Don't forget, this alphabet repeats, so there is a letter before A. And, oh look, piano keys. It probably doesn't surprise you that the names of the notes on the piano, the white keys, each have a corresponding letter name from the musical alphabet. So here's our B clef. Up a step is C. Down a step, A. Up 2 steps, D. Down 2 steps, this is kind of a tricky one, G. And, well, to tell you the truth, there really isn't any such thing as a B clef, but let's start now with something that you are going to see in actual music. Let's just pick a note on the staff. We'll call it G. And there you go. There's a nice marker. And we'll use this to mark G. I wrote a G and put the curly right around the line that marks G, so that'll make it easy to see. But that's really kind of ugly looking. Let's see if we can, there we go. That looks a little nicer. This is the G clef. All right. Now this isn't just some device that I invented to help you remember where G is. This is actually an old-timey fancy way of writing a G. That's what it's for. And it makes it really easy. This could not be more clear. This little cross here just shows you right where G is. It's like you're looking through a scope, aiming for a G, and there it is. It's right there. You may also know it as the treble clef. Same thing, G clef, treble clef, same thing. Treble means high, so we use it for mid to high notes. So if you play flute or trumpet or the high notes on the piano, you will probably be reading notes on the treble staff. So, knowing where G is, we've gone down a step. This is F. Up a step from G. That's A. Up another step. That's B. And up one more step. That is C. Oh, wait a minute. This one is important. This is treble C. Now this one I want you to memorize. All right? If you're on the treble staff, the second space, not the top, but the second space from the top of the staff is treble C. So now we have 2 markers here. We remember that this is G. We know that's G because of the clef sign. And if we memorize C, we'll know that this space, second from the top, is C. These are called landmarks. Now, this is the first time I've told you to memorize anything. This C, okay? If you have a treble clef here, and you have this note on this space, that is a C. If you can memorize that, that'll help out a lot because you'll have 2 landmarks, and from there, if you know your musical alphabet, you can work your way around and find any note on the staff. So let's start over with a new staff, and let's pick a new note, and let's say this is an F. So let's make a marker, draw a letter F. Actually, in olden days, they made F's backwards, so here's an old-timey F. And notice I've put the cross and the F right on the line where F is. Well, actually that doesn't really work too well, having a line on top of a line to mark where it is. So let's come up with something. There we go. Instead of a line, we have 2 dots. And right between those 2 dots is F. This is the F clef. And if you use a little imagination, you can see an F there, and the F line is right between the two lines of the letter F, or it's between the two dots on the F clef. We also call it the bass clef. So bass means low, so we're going to use this for mid to low notes. So if you play trombone or tuba or bassoon or bass guitar, you will probably be reading notes on the bass clef. So knowing where F is, this is down a step from F. This is E. This is down another step, going backwards in the alphabet. This is D. Let's go backwards, down one more in the alphabet. This is C. And oh, once again, here's an important note that I want you to memorize. Okay, second space from the bottom of the bass staff is bass C. Remember that that is a C. So now we have a landmark here, this F, which is shown right where it is by that clef sign, and the C that I want you to memorize. So now I've had you memorize two things, treble C and bass C. So memorize this. If there's a bass clef, this note is going to be a C. Remember this one? This is treble C. Remember this one? This is bass C. And if we're using piano, you can find C this way. C is to the left of any place where there are two black keys. Notice that there's a pattern here. Black keys go 2, 3, 2, 3 over and over. Look for a place where there are two black keys. Right to the left, that is C. So you can work your way up and down from there. And if you know where C is on the staff and you know where C is on the piano, you can find notes. For more on the names of the notes on the piano keys, see my video 05. I have a few more little tricks to help you remember where the notes on the piano keyboard are. So if this is going kind of fast, go back to that video and it'll help out a little more. So we've gone up a step from bass C. So we're on D. What's this note? E. Let's go up one more. What's this note? F. Oh, look at there. And just like I promised, F is on the line between the two dots of the bass staff. Here we are down a step from bass C. This is B. Interesting. Here's second line from the bottom of the staff. Here it's a B, but here it's a G because there's a treble clef. So the clef is important. It's going to be a different note if there's a different clef. Let's revisit this for a moment. Every good boy deserves fudge. E, G, B, D, F. The second line is G, so that works out. But oh dear, here it doesn't work so good because we just decided that this is a B. So every good boy deserves fudge. That's not going to work here. No problem, we'll just come up with a different saying for the bass staff. Good boys do fine always. G, B, D, F, A. So second line is B. Well, that works. And we also need a saying for the spaces. All cows eat grass. And if you work it out, this is true. A, C, E, G. That's the correct names of the spaces on the bass staff. But boy, that is a lot of stuff to remember. We have to remember two sayings, one for the treble staff and one for the bass staff, and they're both for lines. And we have to learn two more sayings for the spaces on each of the staffs. That's an awful lot to remember. Okay, so if this works for you, then splendid. I have no problem with that. I don't need you to unlearn anything. But I've just shown you another way to read music, and I've always said two ways are better than one. So let's kind of review what we've looked at so far. This is a staff. This is a G clef or treble clef, and it tells you where G is. This is treble C. This is the thing you need to memorize. Here's the bass clef. It tells you where F is. So there's F. And second space from the bottom of the bass staff is bass C. This you also need to memorize. And the last thing I asked you to memorize was where C is on the piano, and C is immediately to the left of the two black keys. So, if you can remember these things, you will be able to name any note on the staff and find it on the keyboard without having to remember any sayings and what they represent. So this may seem like a lot. I've given you a lot of information, so please review this video at any time. In fact, I think it's a really good idea. If you do review it, you can skip to any part of it that you are unclear about, need to go over again. You can also visit my earlier videos, 01 through 05, where I start from the very, very beginning and I go a little slower. I've kind of glossed over a few things, so if anything was kind of unclear for you, this might help clarify a few things. Also, please feel free to leave questions in the comments. I love answering questions. Leave it in the comments, or you can send me a message and I'd be happy to help you out. Coming up, lesson 1-2, piano music and the grand staff. Ooh, the grand staff. I wonder what that is. Well, you'll find out next time. So hopefully I will see you there. Thanks a lot. Good luck. Have fun. Bye.